Ahoy there. Hope my words find you in good health, that you're enjoying your process, and that you're finding happiness as you become the leader you were meant to be and the person you were meant to be. I'm going to talk about my process as a leader, and specifically my experiences at Gonzaga University in the Organizational Leadership Program. Gonzaga University is a private institution in the Pacific Northwest, and is founded on Catholic Jesuit humanist values. You see, I'm an atheist. My beliefs, my lack of beliefs, or whatever you want to call it, there's only about 3 to maybe 4% of the population who are atheists. And so there was a lot of crossover between my universal humanist beliefs and those of the Jesuit humanist beliefs as well. And one of the reasons I was aligned or am aligned with the program. To understand the Jesuit order, who are in essence the special operations, the Navy SEALs of the Catholic Church, you have to first take a look at their founder, Ignatius of Loyola. He was a Spaniard from Spain, obviously, and he was an artillery officer. And Ignatius was said to be a very handsome man who dressed foppishly in bright colors and elaborate costumes. That was the style and fashion of his time. And this is like back in 1450, around the 15th and 16th century. And so in a battle, Ignatius was doing his job, and a cannonball came and hit him in the leg and took out his leg. And this is a huge metaphor in the lessons and the learning of life, that as leaders we often have to deal with unforeseen circumstances, a cannonball coming and devastating our life, the rug being ripped out of us. And what really defines us as people, what really defines us as leaders, is how we address, how we confront this adversity, the rug being pulled out from underneath us, the unforeseen circumstances. So after Ignatius was injured in battle, he was taken to a hospital. And while he was in the hospital, this is 15th century medicine, so he's lucky alive because he didn't get sepsis or anything like that. The doctors reset his leg numerous times, and afterwards he was left deformed. He lost his glory, or at least in his own mind he lost his glory at that point in time. He lost his beauty and was no longer able to be an officer, which was a defining thing in his life. You see, at the time, men wore leggings or tights, and his leg, left all bulbous and deformed from being reset numerous times, was no longer attractive in tights. And so, devastated by this, Ignatius sought solitude to kind of figure out who he was and where his life was going to go. And he wound up in a cave, and for a length of time survived in this cave and lived like a hermit, depressed by his failures in life, or apparent failures in life, or what he saw as a failure in life, or the devastation of his reality. He isolated himself from the world. It said that he survived by sucking the mold off the wall inside of the cave. And so while he was in this isolation, while he was on this journey of rediscovery after destruction, it's said that one evening he was laying partially in a stream near his cave, and he was looking up at the clear sky of the stars. And that's when he had the Epiphany, or the revelation, the inspiration for the Jesuit order. Now, the Jesuit order, broken down at like a really elementary level, is modeled after what someone in the military would recognize as artillery scouts. They're a forward unit that goes scouts ahead, above or further than the main force that may proceed, and directs artillery fire. And this is kind of how the Jesuits fulfill their purpose or their mission for the Catholic Church as an organization. They are the missionaries who go into areas. It's extremely dangerous, especially back then and especially now today. It's not uncommon for a Jesuit missionary or a Jesuit priest to have a story about being imprisoned in some foreign land. And they go into these areas and they integrate within society and then accompany and walk with the people who they meet and bring their Catholic values to them. There's a whole lot to learn in this. You see, the Jesuits of the orders within the Catholic Church are one of the most diverse, malleable, adaptable orders. They do things completely different than all of the other religious orders like the Franciscans or the Benedictines within the Catholic Church. And this has really worked well for them as an organization. They've been around for 500 years. And so when we look at the captains of industry, when we look at those leaders who, you know, the Elon Musks, the JP Morgans, these individuals, you don't see the same kind of sustainability within their organizations. Looking back even 60 years, there's fewer than 60 Fortune 500 companies that are still in existence. And so a big lesson, a big process to take out of this, out of life, out of any lessons we may learn in our process as leaders, is to be adaptable, is to learn to roll with the punches, to flow like water. And so as your leader and as the vicissitudes of life crash you back and forth and unknown things like cannonballs come flying out of nowhere and might take you out at the knees, learn to accept that process, accept that down, accept that back up, accept the oscillation of life. It's a natural process, the birth, the death, the creation and the destruction of life. And so as a leader, you have to hold on and be strong for this, because you're not working for yourself. You're working for your team. You're working for your organization and the health of your organization. And so I hope my words have helped you through your day and helped you through your process. Go out and do really good things. I love you.